From players like Lucas Coley and Latrell McCutchin to Tadion Lott, Friday Night Tykes was littered with talent. These youth football players had huge expectations, so where exactly are these Friday Night Tykes star players now? Well, first up, the star quarterback Justice Hurt, who was the definition of pressure. Justice Hurt, who became an internet sensation for being the coach's son and the most dominant quarterback on the show. And on Friday Night Tykes, he went viral for having an elite arm and being the toughest player for the Texas Storm. And on Friday Night Tykes, he was never the biggest player, but definitely had the biggest heart. And this followed him throughout his football career as he attended William Howard Taft High School in San Antonio, Texas. And at Taft High School, he continued to play quarterback, being an extremely good dual threat for them, as he actually rushed for more yards than he passed for, rushing for 1,573 yards and only passing for 900. So this allowed him to become an elite college football wide receiver recruit, as he became a 3-star recruit and the 147th best overall wide receiver in the 2023 recruiting class. And he'd offer from schools such as Texas State, SMU, and Memphis, but ultimately decided to commit to play for UTSA. And he redshirted his true freshman season at UTSA in 2023, sadly not playing in any games. And then in the next season, Justice Hurt actually did get to play in one game, but sadly hasn't recorded a single statistic yet, but is expected to have a huge breakout season for the Roadrunners next season. And next up, meet the Colts star receiver, the Friday Night Tykes superstar wide receiver Darius Lurfields, who dominated for the Colts. And Darius Lurfields was the biggest and one of the best receivers on the entire show, and alongside Tadion Lott helped the Colts dominate Friday Night Tykes. And he was great on Friday Night Tykes, but following this, he decided to leave the area and go move to Maryland, as he would go on to attend Northwest High School in Germantown, Maryland. And in high school at Northwest, he was the do-it-all guy for them and was dominant, as he played quarterback, receiver, and also cornerback for the team. And he was an extreme athlete, running a 4.5 40 and also being an All-American high jumper. And this all allowed him to become a 3-star cornerback recruit and the 1,986th best overall player in the 2022 recruiting class. And he'd offer from schools such as Navy, Georgetown, and Army, but ultimately decided to commit to play for Bowling Green. And he actually got to play in his true freshman season at Bowling Green, making 5 tackles before breaking out in 2023. As in his sophomore season, he started every game for Bowling Green at safety and was amazing, having over 40 tackles and 2 interceptions. After this, though, he missed some time in 2024, having kind of a down year, but is expected to have a huge breakout season in 2025. And then following him, we have Jeremy Duran, the best Friday Night Tykes quarterback Jeremy Duran, who dominated through the air as he led the Mission Mustangs to winning their first ever championship. And Jeremy Duran was hands down the best quarterback and had the best arm on Friday Night Tykes, as he completely carried the Mission Mustangs. And Jeremy Duran's amazing arm and dominance followed him throughout his football career, as he started as a freshman for Mission High School. And as a freshman, he was immediately amazing, throwing for 1,465 passing yards with 14 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. And following this, Jeremy Duran had 2 more great seasons as Mission's starting quarterback, as in his 3 years there, he threw for over 4,000 passing yards and 41 touchdowns to only 11 interceptions. Sadly though, for Jeremy Duran, he was not super big, as he only stood at 5'8" and weighed 190 pounds. And Jeremy Duran was also not super athletic, as he only ran a 5.4 40-yard dash and only had a 20-inch vertical. And following his 3 years as Mission's starting quarterback, he decided to transfer but was not allowed to play. And sadly, as a result of this, he was a 0-star recruit in the 2022 college football recruiting class with no Division I college football offers. And now he is currently just a student at Montclair State University. And following him, we have the walking highlight reel, Jarion McClain, the shiftiest and most underrated running back on Friday Night Tykes, as Jarion McClain looked like prime Barry Sanders out there, breaking ankles and destroying teams on Friday Night Tykes for the Predators. He refused to get tackled and had an insane highlight reel, and this followed him throughout his football career, as he would go on to attend Lake Nona High School in Orlando, Florida. And he had to play a year of freshman football and then a year of JV football, as he wasn't very big, standing at only 5'8", 150 pounds. After this though, he would get to play varsity for his last 2 seasons of high school football and was amazing there. He played both corner and wide receiver for Lake Nona and was extremely good despite his very small size, as he was extremely fast with an 11.5 100-meter dash and a 23.4 200-meter dash. Despite all this though, he wasn't very strong with only 155-pound bench and 155-pound clean. So as a result of this, he didn't do very much as a receiver, as he only played in 14 games there, racking up 227 receiving yards. However, Jarion McClain was an extremely good defensive back there, playing in 14 games and making 41 total tackles, as he was named the Prep Player of the Week. After high school though, he stopped playing football and is now currently working at the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. And next up, meet Deacon Wright, star receiver who went viral for dominating and being the fan favorite for the Austin Colts. We'll meet Deacon Wright, who looked exactly like Troy Polamalu with his awesome hair and absolutely dominated on Friday Night Tykes. And Deacon Wright was hands down the best receiver on the entire show, as he never dropped a pass and ran the best slant route in the entire game. He carried the Colts and was an absolute season 2 superstar, and this followed him throughout his football career, as he would go on to attend New Braunfels High School in New Braunfels, Texas. And in high school, he stood at 6 feet, 150 pounds, but immediately got to start on varsity as a freshman. And he was never the biggest receiver in high school like he was on Friday Night Tykes, but he could run the absolute best fast routes. And in his senior season, he played both quarterback and wide receiver for New Braunfels. And he was extremely good, but despite this, he was actually a 0-star recruit and was not even ranked in the 2022 college football recruiting class. And many people believed he had the talent to play college football, but he had no Division I college football offers. And sadly, he did not want to play JUCO football, so after high school, he stopped playing football and is now currently just enjoying and living his life. And then we have one of the biggest stars on the show, Trey McCutchen. The Friday Night Tykes star Latreveon McCutchin, who went viral for his hilarious personality and being the best receiver on the entire show. Also known as Trey McCutchen, he dominated Friday Night Tykes for the Austin Steelers and was not afraid to show off as he was the best player on Friday Night Tykes. And this was absolutely crazy and insane as he would go on to attend LBJ High School in Austin, Texas, where he played linebacker. And he only got to play 3 shortened seasons at LBJ, but was an extremely good linebacker for them. As in his high school career, he would go on to rack up 93 total tackles, 2 interceptions, and 4 sacks. And he became a pretty big player as he stood at 6'2", 205 pounds. And this all ultimately allowed him to become a 3-star recruit and the 1,084th best overall player in the 2023 recruiting class. And he'd offer some schools such as Navy, Louisiana Tech, and Air Force, but ultimately decided to commit to play for Minnesota. After that though, just a few weeks later, he decommitted and ultimately committed to play for Houston. And he immediately got to play in all 12 games in his freshman season for the Cougars, racking up 10 tackles. And then after this, he had a great season at linebacker for Houston in 2024, having 11 solo tackles, 2 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, and is now expected to have a huge breakout season for them in 2025. Then we have the backup quarterback who took Friday Night Tykes by storm. The Friday Night Tykes star Derrick Mada, the Colts quarterback who came out of nowhere to shock the entire league. As Derrick Mada was the backup for the Colts before taking over and being dominant on Friday Night Tykes alongside Latrell McCutchin. And this followed Derrick Mada throughout his entire football career as he would go on to attend Smithson Valley. And in high school, Derrick Mada was always talked about due to his height as he was under 6 feet playing quarterback. And he actually didn't even get to take over as his high school starting quarterback until his senior season there. And in his one season starting high school football, he threw for 900 passing yards and 8 touchdowns. And he led his team in Texas to the playoffs, which allowed him to become a 3-star recruit and the 106th best overall quarterback. And he'd offers from schools such as Louisiana, Lamar, and Georgetown, but ultimately decided to commit to play for Texas State. And he redshirted his freshman season at Texas State to grow both mentally and physically in the weight room, because as a freshman, he was listed at 5'9", 200 pounds. After this 2022 season, though, he disappeared, completely being off the roster and never playing a single game for Texas State, and is now currently an artist for T-Mobile. And then the most underappreciated player on the show, best Friday Night Tykes all-around football player for the Outlaws, dominating at both receiver and also being an extremely hard hitter on defense. We meet Careo, who was an extremely underappreciated player for the San Antonio Outlaws as he could do everything on Friday Night Tykes. And this followed Allen throughout his football career as he would go on to attend Judson High School in Converse, Texas. And he missed some time during his career, but in total, he was flat out dominant for Judson High School. And Allen would go on to play safety for Judson High School, and just his senior season alone, he played in 9 games, racking up 101 total tackles. And in his total career there, he racked up 209 total tackles and 4 interceptions, which ultimately allowed him to become a very sought-after recruit. As Allen Careo stood at 5'10", 180 pounds, and was a 2-star recruit and the 184th best overall safety in the 2022 college football recruiting class. And many schools wanted him as he garnered attention from schools such as Utah and had offers from schools such as Navy, Liberty, and Army, but didn't commit to play for any of these schools as he went to go play JUCO football at Trinity Valley. And Allen was dominant his one season of JUCO football. They were playing in 11 games and making 43 tackles and even adding an interception. After this though, he entered the transfer portal and is currently looking for a JUCO home. And then finally, the biggest player on the show, Friday Night Tykes star that was so big that he got recruited in Walmart to play for the Judson Rockets. We'll meet Travion Smith, and yes, you heard that right, he was recruited to play, and just listen to how his coaches describe him.
He has a natural killer instinct for the football. This kid is a heat-seeking missile for the football. Oh, knocked his helmet off.
And I really understand why, because he dominated and was ginormous on Friday Night Tykes and was the scariest defender on the entire show. And this followed him throughout his football career as he would go on to attend Samuel Clemens High School in Schertz, Texas. Surprisingly though, he actually wasn't that big, standing at 6'1", 230 pounds in high school as he played middle linebacker. And he was a very good player in high school, which allowed him to get offers from schools such as Texas Lutheran, but he ultimately committed to play for Hardin-Simmons. This was a Division III school though, and he ultimately decided to commit to play for Texas State. And at Texas State, Travion Smith got much bigger as he now stands at 6'1", 269 pounds and plays defensive tackle. Sadly though for him, he's yet to play in a single game and hasn't recorded a single statistic, and is also currently working as a pool monitor for Cruise and Aquatics. Well, that's it for this one. So if you'd like the video, make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below who you want to see next.